Hello friends, I'm not sure if y'all remember me. My name's Rose and a long time ago we used to do makeup tutorials together. I'm back from my family trip. That was so much fun. Lots of downtime. Lots of it. I'm not used to downtime. Let's just say I just kept refreshing and seeing how much makeup was being released and how much stuff that we needed to play with. This was sent to me. I'm so excited. We're doing a look with this today. This color, I want to do something a little bit more neutral, but this as a lid color, it's going to be delightful. And then look what else came. I didn't get the pink one, but we're going to use this peach one. I'm going to film with this. We'll look at that. I can never leave. Now I will say this shade, they sent 3 shades and they're way too light. I'll swatch it for you really quickly, but the undertone is right. Even though it's too light, the undertone is right. Wish it was a little darker. So I'll have to purchase that. You know, I just want to always let y'all know I'm sent a lot of things, and I normally tell you what I'm sent. Just assume that it's sent unless I say it's not. But also why I'm saying that is because a lot of times brands will send me to things, and remember, this is what I do. This is the path. This is the career path I chose. I'll just go buy the shade because sometimes it takes them a little longer to ship things and I am impatient. So I'll just go buy the right shade. Plus, because this is my community, I like to support the community. Now let's get this eye makeup on. I want it to be a little bit more full coverage, and whenever I want a little bit more of a glam look, I want a heavier, more opaque eye base. So I'm gonna grab my clean canvas, shade Fair. And if you kind of have the eye look that you want to do in mind, say you wanted to do a cut crease, I wouldn't worry about putting it here, but I never really know where this look is going to take me. So I always, even though I'll come back and clean it up later, and I understand that some of us want to be a little bit more mindful, but I'm just in this artistic space when I sit down, so I'm just not sure. So that's why I'm still, no matter what I do, I'm going to start at my lash line with a C31, and I'm going to take it all the way up to my brow bone. And I take it really far out too, because I don't know what we're doing. We're just having fun. We got in so late last night. We weren't delayed. Thank goodness. I think that was my first not delayed flight in a couple months. But the flight was it was long. Well, it was almost 5 hours because we did have to go around weather, which isn't a long flight. I've been on much longer flights, but I was so ready to be home. I'm such a homebody. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. But it feels so nice to be home with my little animal babies. And in my bed, and back to my lizard mosquito weather. It was actually fall there. The leaves were starting to turn. It was so beautiful. But then after about 5 days of it, I'm like, I miss summer. But you know what? I could make this work with bronzer. And also, this just shows you that if you go into a store and you're able to swatch, or a lot of Sephora, obviously Sephora, you can do that. Ulta, I know at the drugstore we can't, but let's just act like we're talking about this new foundation. A lot of us are going to want to try it. No, even this, I don't believe that this is a super long wear formula. It's not marketed as that. Think Estee Lauder Double Wear. It is marketed as that. But a lot of times the long wear, once they dry down into a different shade. And even though this is a more dewy formula, you'll notice that it looks different now as it's dried down than when it did when I first swatched it. Keep that in mind. Keep it in mind for any foundation. That's what I'm really saying. No matter the formula, let it dry before you choose your shade. I was saying, I'm not sure if it cut me off, but always let it dry down before you choose your shade. No matter what foundation it is. Now, we definitely know this. We might not. We're not out here assuming, but it's something I've talked about a lot, and I know that my story fam, we're like this. So we hear the things over and over again. But if you're new here, anytime you have something that says long wear, transfer proof, never going anywhere, you definitely need to let it dry down before you choose your shade. But we're seeing even with this type of formula, just a really pretty dewy finish that we still need to let that dry down before we leave the store with our shade. Now let's scoot on over to this palette. We're scooting. I love it. It smells like apple. It smells like an apple Scentsy. Do y'all remember Scentsy's? I miss mine. I should get it back out. I love Scentsy's. Oh Lord. Everybody signed their NDAs. Actually, my door's open. Let me go shut it. All right, so this is the new Too Faced palette. This is the Appley. The font is a little wild. It's super cute. Maybe it's just me. Appley in Love, which is adorable. And let's just start with an E28 here. Let's just grab this color. Let's just lay down a nice little transition first. See where that takes us. Pretty. Pressing that into the base. We really got to press it into a wet base. It's important. The eyeshadow is going to be more pigmented this way, and it's going to make sure that we have absolutely zero creasing, because you're just kind of pressing that back and forth. And sometimes when we swipe over a wet base or a wet concealer, even underneath here, think about that. If you're swiping over it, it's missing areas. So I always like to really, now let's do this shade. This smells so good, but if you're sensitive to smells, I don't think these palettes are going to be for you. And I'm trying to see if the formula is anything worth writing home about. And it does feel very smooth. It has a very smooth texture so far. I'm enjoying the way that it's applying on my eye. That being said, it is very scented, and I'm trying to think. It's a very unique color story, so I like that if we don't have colors like this, it might be fun to add to our collection, but then there's still kind of a mix of colors that are just really quick to throw on every day, like say these three. So yeah, I would have bought this had they not sent it. I've always been a fan of the Too Faced palettes. I grabbed a little bit more of that first shade just to soften that transition a little bit more, but I've always been a fan of them. I think they're a really, let me think about how I want to say it. They're very beginner friendly, but then you can also get some really interesting looks with them, and you can kind of get very creative with them. And I think that this is a really interesting color story that could spark creativity and kind of keep you in your comfort zone. So far so good. But we're not adding to cart yet. Hang on. We could get over here into these shimmers and be let down. So everybody hang on. Okay. Where do we want to go now? I don't know what that is. I kind of want to, this color is delicious, but we're going to do a couple looks with this palette. I always do. But let's see how deep this is going to go. I don't want to go here yet. Maybe thereafter, I don't know. I like how there's a nice couple of depth options. Notice how I flip that towards the ceiling? I'm just gonna push that in here. I think I want to do a little bit more of a smoky look. Yeah, I'm enjoying this. I'm sometimes you're just in a palette and you're just having fun and everything's laying the way that you want it to lay. And that's what's happening for me right now. I'm loving it. Now let's take this color. This one. It escaped me. And don't worry, we'll do a more burgundy look. We're going to do a couple looks. But I woke up with this in my mind. And we're just going to push this through here. We're going to shade the front part. I just heard my washer finish. It's singing its song. Yeah, that's fun. I should probably switch to a smaller brush, but we're just using the very tip of the brush to push it in here. And this kind of shows y'all that you're able to even do more intricate looks with a brush like this. It's just about It is obviously about how it's shaped and designed, but it's really about where you're picking up that shadow on your brush. And that way we don't have to use 10 different brushes for one eye look. So I just want to create the tiniest amount of depth. I'm just going to switch to an E26. And I want to kind of tilt my head back. I have a lot more lid space today because of this very tight bun. So I'm kind of taking advantage of that. So I'm just going to shape a little bit there. And I only want it to come out a little bit. See how you can barely see it peeking out? And the tinier the brush, the more control you're gonna have. I'm ready for this. Just don't forget, we're gonna use this color right here. Get ready. That's gonna be our lid color. Isn't that pretty? It's not too green. It's that one right there. Oh, it's so pretty. I love it. But that's where we're heading. So we haven't cleaned up anything here, and I know it looks like a cut crease, but that's how precise you can be. It was still that precise even when we were using this brush. Again, it's just about obviously the design, but it is about where you pick it up on the brush and where you place it. So that's a big thing. Now I think I'm just going to use this brush, and I'm going to kind of get a nice pinch this way so it's really nice and flat, and we're going to pick up this shade. I'm so excited for this. Now I did even out the base. I just took this, the C31, evened it out like I always do. Now let's start to kind of pile this on our lid. And it looks very intense in the pan, but it's one of those translucent shades. And I think that's what makes it fun. And I'm just gonna keep building this up in sections. And then I was thinking about taking what's left. I'm still kind of building it on the lid a little bit more. I was thinking about, since it is a translucent shade, which means it doesn't have a base, see how you can still kind of see my skin through it? That's that type of eyeshadow. But I was thinking about taking it and then tapping it over what we got going on. So there's a really fun little sheen. And that's why I didn't use the C30, because I had this in mind. C30 is going to pick it up and make it look like this, but I wanted more of a wash. And then let's put this on our waterline. This is one of the Stila liners. Oof, I forget how good these are. Wait, do I want to use that as my liner? I kind of want brown liner because I didn't want black, but I want something darker than this kind of jade green. Oh, I like it on the waterline though. This is what it looks like, by the way. Isn't that pretty? Ooh, I like this color. It's not a darker brown. What's it called? This is called espresso. Here, I'll start from underneath here. Oh, I love how creamy these are. I forget how much I love this formula. And then, since it's a gel, it can be a lot more forgiving than, say, a liquid, because a liquid's going to instantly set. You have more time with this, and if it's just gone too far, you would be able to smudge this because it's not an instant dry time. You have about 60 seconds with this. So it's just such a forgiving formula. Okay, this is a really good color, and it was really easy to work with. I'm gonna get you a link for this. You know, liners come and go, but Stila knows. They know liner, and this is still one of my favorite formulas, and I forget about it. So I'm really excited. There's also a silver one I need to do a look with. Ugh, so good. But I love this, and I'm getting you a link. So I kind of want that same effect, so I'm picking up that shadow that's all over my lid, and I'm just going to lightly tap that over the brown liner. I want everything to just be kind of covered in this color. And this is also a really good kind of technique to hide any mistakes that you didn't like. So You can always do this. Instead of wiping everything off, just cover it in a light sheen. Save that for a rainy day. All right, let's just do a quick review on this. This is the new Charlotte Tilbury mascara. I didn't curl my lashes, and we're not being really harsh with it, but I just wanted to see what's going on, kind of just in the one swipe, and I'm about to show you the wand. It's a curved wand. Just a quick little look. It's really adding volume at the base, which is kind of fun. I feel like it's a little bit heavier of a formula, which isn't good for my lashes because my lashes tend to want to fall. So I can already tell that it's a little bit of a thicker formula without the fluff, and I like a little bit more fluff to mine. I like the way that it looks. It is giving more thickness towards the base than it is length and lift. But I've never wanted to be just like, oh, this is terrible, because we all like different things. Unless it's the Givenchy powder. I'm still not over that. But I digress. All right, y'all know I have a partnership with Lily Lashes, so if I'm talking about it, I'm just going to put ad. I'm only required to, I guess this is how the FTC works in a sense, that you have to put ad each time that you're technically being compensated. I'm just going to fill y'all in on it. So technically for this post, I'm not, because I'm only supposed to do, I believe like 3 story slides a month, but I mean, it just feels right. I'm going to put ad, I don't care. So I'm going to do, you know what? One of y'all told me to put these on the back of your hand to warm them up. And I like that idea. And I just did it. It looks scary though. Don't look at that now. But it really worked nicely. So we're going to pop this on. And these are the style Dream Chaser. God, I don't even know how I used to do lashes with actual glue, just gooping around on my eye. I was saying I just don't miss all the goopy glue everywhere. It's a nightmare. These are just so much easier, even for me. And I would consider myself to be experienced in the realm of makeup application. But I love them. I think they're amazing. 11 out of 10. There you go. Now let's do this. We're moving on to foundation. I'm gonna have to darken this still a hair. I will, because if I was to just put this all on, it would just look like a mask, because it is gonna be too light to match down here. It might match like around these areas, but to go with that flow, we're gonna need to darken it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna use this Laura Geller. I'm gonna use it in a darker shade than I normally would, but we're using it under. So I'm using this bronzer to darken my foundation. And the reason I wanna use this is because it's a more gel-like serum texture. I don't want to interfere with the formula. So this is going to be one of the thinnest ways to get pigment. If you're needing pigment and you don't wanna change a formula, you want a gel or a serum. Ooh, that's gonna be a good shade, but this is much too dark for me on top of my foundation. We're gonna go ahead and just lightly blend this out. Remember, it doesn't matter as much because it's gonna get covered, but I cannot stress enough how this type of formula is so, I feel like it's something that we all need. Now, I love this exact formula so much. It's a 11 out of 10, but I don't want you to feel like you need to go get this, even though it is on sale. I just saw it was only 18 right now, but that's beside the point. What I'm trying to get, my point I'm trying to make here is this type of gel serum is so important to have in your collection, more important than all the frilly fun stuff. Got it. And the reason why is because this can help you save and use what you already have. So it's better to buy one product like this than to keep buying a foundation when we can just keep adjusting it with this one product. Now, let's grab our foundation. By the way, if you're that actually does pop off. It just pops right off and you can wash it just like a sponge. Love that. try this out. See what we're working with here. Always shake your foundation. I'm gonna do 2 pumps. Let's see where we go from there. Because the pumps are kind of big. Okay, now we're gonna go around. And we can still put on more bronzer, but we're using this bronzer underneath to shift it, to darken it, to bring it to where I need it to be. C42. And I just got the sweetest message about my C42 here. And I'm gonna let y'all read it. Woo, we're tiptoeing around. And then go on top. The foundation's pretty. I feel like, okay, I want to get my words right. I feel like a lot of times, this is a positive thing, you don't get a lot of blur from a dewy foundation. And the reason why is because the light, there's nothing there to diffuse. So the reason we like the way powder sometimes looks is because it's kind of dulling down light and it gives a more matte finish. But I am actually getting a little bit of blur from a dewy foundation. So I like this. I think that this is an interesting formula so far. I'm very excited. Let's do this side. I'll be able to tell more here. Very excited. Yeah, I really like it. And I think that we're getting that blur more from the pigments in there instead of it just having, think about foundation, some of them just having, it's so hard to explain. I wish I had went to school and I wish I was a makeup scientist, but I am not. So think of some foundations, once they dry, they have powder in them and it's going to give a powder finish, right? What we're getting here is we're still getting extreme dewy goodness, but the way the pigments are in here, it's going to have that pigment kind of giving the blur. Even though it's not going to dry down to blur, there's a pigment there and it's just kind of fuzzing and hazing over my skin. So I'm excited to see how this wears. I will say that 2 pumps, look how much I have left. So I think we could have done this in 1 pump. Let's try to build it up right here. I just want to see. I wish I had a better shade. But like I said, I'll just go buy it, but I'm eager to try it. And so far I'm loving it. So I'm excited to see it in a shade better for me. It's buildable, but it's still not going into full coverage. Let's not act like we're going over into full coverage. I'm going to say light to light medium, not even medium. Barely medium. Not a bad thing. I just want to make sure that we know what's going on here. If you're wanting a full coverage matte foundation, you don't want this foundation. That being said, that went to light medium really nicely. And also, if you're thinking, well, I could just build it up to more full coverage, I feel like with this type of foundation, this dewy foundation, the way that they feel on the skin, if we continue to try and build and build and build, it's very, very wet. So it can be a little bit harder to set, and then we could have patchiness. So if you're still needing to really, really, really build with your foundation, you might not be enjoying your formula or the coverage. You might need to up your coverage because we don't need to use, you shouldn't have to use this much to build up to a full coverage. It should be pretty easy to build up, and that's something we need to discuss. I think we need to do a tutorial on that. So more is not always better because then you're going to have a whole different set of issues. So you should find a formula where you use really 2 pumps, because there are lots of foundations that have that level of pigment to get to where you need to be without having to put a bunch on. Okay, it's drying down. We're able to use that bronzer. I'm still going to add more bronzer, but we're able to get a darker shade. That's what I'm thinking about. But I'm also thinking I'm thirsty. I did not drink enough water on this last trip. I don't know what I was doing. I'm so happy to be home. Please don't make me leave. No, I missed this concealer. I didn't take this concealer with me because I knew I wasn't going to need this level of coverage, but I missed it. This Measure Weight concealer. I'm just going to put it underneath my eyes because I'm gonna finish the face and look at where the foundation is. Sometimes when I'm testing things, that's what I'll do. This brush is coming back soon. We have a lot coming back in September. There's going to be a big bunch of fun stuff coming this last quarter. So just make sure you're signed up for emails. All that fun stuff that I've been sneaking, this brush, C43, so much is coming back. And thank you for your patience. We are such a small company that we're still, it takes a little bit longer for things, and we just appreciate you so much. We, as in me and Ben and Doug, mostly Jean. Jean really appreciates your patience. Okay, so I'm gonna hop off because I want to film a reel using this powder for the first time. Powder's a sore subject right now. I hope I like this. So I didn't get the pink one. I'll buy the pink one. Like I said, I'll just buy it. I love Mario. Love supporting his brand. But they did send over 3 shades, and the one that caught my eye the most is going to be 3 Neutral Peach. And since I love y'all so much, we'll do a sneakity peekity right now. Let's just look at it here on the back of my hand. Whoa. Okay, good. Sweating. Ooh. Okay, I'm excited. Also, before we go, I just realized that I have not had fresh puffs in over a year. I just keep washing them. So I just opened a fresh batch, 2 come in the package. And you know what? I needed new puffs. I forget what they're like new. Again, mine were a year, maybe even older than a year. So, I mean, I probably shouldn't be telling y'all that. I should probably say, oh, you need to get a new one every month. I would never. But the level of excitement I have right now about to use a fresh, squishy, oh, look at the texture. And don't forget, y'all can get these on Amazon now. Again, they come in a pack like this. This I actually ordered from Amazon myself. You want to see how it comes, how fast it comes, all that good stuff. But they come in here, and there's 2 in this package. I'm excited. So if it's time for new puffs, this is a reminder. You'll see the video, but I mean, we're family here. I don't keep nothing from y'all. I like it. And remember, that foundation I had on was super dewy, and it just interacted perfectly. I'm very excited. I wish I had the pink shade. Let me see if I can get that really quickly. Dagnabbit, it's not out yet. So far, I'm really liking it. All right, let's put on a little bit of a powder bronzer. I'm trying to think about which one I want to put on. I love my YSL, but it's still packed, and I don't want to go get it. Ooh, I forgot how much I love this. We'll do the Kiko Milano bronzer. This one is pigmented. This is shade 102. Oh, and I want to do my Cali Ray blush that I already set. What are we to do? I'll show you. First, we must bronze in transition. Okay, I forget how much I like this bronzer. I feel like the YSL is just a veil of color, and this one is a little bit more impactful. In case you're wondering the difference. Remember, I'm not contouring. I'm just creating that flow. Contouring would be a sculpt like that. This is more of a wash. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but you can get a lot of the Kiko Milano stuff on the Ulta website. I would get you a link, but I don't feel like shortening it. So I'm sure some of you experience this, but sometimes you'll get links and then you'll try to put them on here and it'll say link is too long, and it's like meh. But if you just go type in Kiko Milano bronzer on the Ulta website, you'll find it. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna have to reactivate just a hair, and we only need to reactivate right there. Okay, same thing on the side. This is where we're gonna place the blush. We're in a wet state now. But we're also not going to be here for long because the dry time on this is really nice, and then it kind of just sets and smooths. So we're going to work a little quickly, just a smidgy smidge. Just a wispity wisp. Smooth it out. I also like the applicator on this because it's a little bit larger, so it kind of just smooths. The tiny ones sometimes get a little too precise, and then it's not smoothed out. Melty, melty. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, and then before it's all completely dried, we're just gonna tap over with our foundation just to kind of make sure it's friends with everything on our face. I love this blush so much. And then I'll just take whatever's left on my puff and just reset anywhere. Now the blush is self-setting, so I don't really have to worry about that, but I'm just kind of making sure that I'm kind of putting everything back to where it originally was. Grab my E26 again, back into this shade, and that's gonna go underneath here. Just a nice light smudge. This is one of my favorite lip liners here, and I feel like this is one of the more slept-on shades, one of the more slept-on shades from his entire line, and it's called Spice Chai, and it is such a beautiful shade. It's not too pink, not too brown. It really and truly gives Spice Chai. I can't stop wearing this lipstick. This one's from Kevyn Aucoin. And I know it's super, super light. And I love it though. Because I'll wear it with a darker lip liner like this, and the shade that it, and the dimension that it gives to the lips is so good. Plus the formula is just so pretty, and it is a matte lipstick, so once it dries down, it doesn't transfer. Doug's making little noises because he's dreaming. Jean wanted to go outside. He has a catio, do not fear for him. But he does like to be outside. He was feral, remember that. And then I'll tap to blend. And you know the one way to elevate your makeup, the easiest way ever, and it's just gonna give it the most pro look. It's so easy. It doesn't involve brows, eyes, nothing. It involves your lip line. I want you to take your powder foundation. Make sure it's not too light. Make sure it's your exact shade. I want you to take a C30, something super sharp. I'm not gonna lie, this one's pretty sharp, and it's only $10 right now. But I want you to grab it on the tip of the brush. I want you to take your fingers and make sure it's nice and sharp again. Product is still there. And then I want you to clean up and tidy your lip line. This is truly going to make such a difference, because when we talk to people, a lot of times we look at their mouth while they talk, and if you have a super clean, I want to have a super clean, tidy lip line if somebody's having a little chat with me. All right, let's finish up this eye. I'm thinking inner corner. I'm back in my inner corner era. So I bought our E27 on Sheila. Oh yeah, that'll be pretty, right? Which one? Which one? Actually, let's do the more gold. Jean Bean. Let's keep the more goldy inner corner highlight instead of the cooler inner corner one. Nice. Yep. That's exactly what I wanted. That's a lovely inner corner highlight. Ooh, I feel so spicy and pretty now. Let's put some here too. Nice. All right, let's put on a little bit of this. By the way, out of all the lip oil situations that came out, this one was my favorite. This one's from Milk. Now this is a new shade. I haven't tried this one. Oh yeah, Ooh, it's got a little bit of pink to it too. It's a pinky gold shift. Oh my goodness. But if you ask me on a deeper level, this one, out of all of them, is my favorite. Oh, this is so pretty. It's so comfortable. And these actually last on the lips, as opposed to the Dior lip oil, that one I have and it's gone in 10 minutes. This one lasts like an hour, 2 hours. Okay, we're done. I have a lot to catch up on, so I'm just gonna wash this off and film some more stuff. I'm so excited. I got some fun ideas. I'm gonna post I think I'll post one of my more helpful. I think I'll post brow tips tonight. I think we need some brow tips. I'm actually out of my Glossier brow pencil. I ran out while I was gone and I'm about to go buy another one. I wear cool dark brown and I don't have it on today and I don't love my brows the way that I normally love them. They're a little too dark and I just feel like, see how it's a little harsh? I just don't, I just really like that Glossier brow pencil. I wish I had time to go to the store today. I have so much to catch up on. I really like the way that this foundation looks. I really, really like that. I know Thursdays we do talk throughs, but I feel like we haven't done a tutorial. So I thought we could do a talk through tutorial and we'll try some stuff that we still haven't tried. Like there's a lot of newness, but I don't feel like it's time to not do makeup. We don't need a day off tomorrow from doing makeup. We're gonna put on makeup. I'm excited. Love this palette. We'll do more looks with this, but we'll just kind of do a rundown. Maybe I'll do another look. No, because I want to use this palette tomorrow, but we'll use that one again on Friday, but I want to use this palette tomorrow because this color is just squeaking at me. Oh, that's so pretty. I'm so excited. So we'll use that tomorrow. All right. I love you so much and I'll see you tonight in the comments.